Whoa. So I'm going back down here to Southpoint again. I didn't even know if I was really going to be getting in the water, but when I got down here, it was glass and I decided to jump in. But I didn't want to go after the typical colley or the same fish that I always go after down here. One, because they're kind of overfished, and number two, because I just wanted to go after something different this time. So I was specifically going after menpachi this time. There are a lot of caves down here where there are a lot of menpachi. So I wanted to fish in there. You can see them kind of lurking around the holes, and that's one of the first things I was going after. But I was going after anything really other than the typical colley or the other things that I got here. Here I dropped down, just saw, I'm not sure their Hawaiian name, they're just mullet. Pretty good eating. You have to get a lot of them. They're pretty small. I have a really bad habit of chasing fish and getting aggressive after them when they start to leave, and that's what I did here. And so I bailed out on that after I realized that I was chasing them. Here I'm just dropping down to the bottom. You can see those caves down here. I know that there are menpachi in there. I saw them hanging out before, so I got down here, but they were really skittish. They see a lot of action down here, and so they're kind of hard to get into. I should have held my breath a little longer, should have waited and seen if I could alert them out, but wasn't much going down there. And I kind of hit a couple of these. You can see them there hanging out, looking at me. Didn't have any luck getting after them, and I went around the corner where I don't go very often down at Southpoint because there's a strong current there. But this time I went down there and actually saw a whole bunch of wildlife that I typically don't see. I was really excited to see a lot of the fish that I saw down there, but I wasn't really on my game today, and so I didn't get a lot of shots off. Really cool structure, really good structure, and the place that you would expect to see a lot of the different types of cave-dwelling fish. Here I was kind of going after that goatfish, but after not having a lot of luck, I started to get too aggressive with my dives and really started to pursue fish. I could have got that colley there, but again, I didn't really want to be going after the colley. I was looking for some other species. I also want to see the colley kind of replenish down here. A lot of them have been taken, so I'd like to see more colley down there before I start harvesting. Too many of them. One here, one there is not going to hurt, but I don't want to take too many out of the water down here. I had just seen another YouTuber that shot one of these king colley, so I decided I wanted to take one of those, compare them to the colley. So I got this king colley there. Not a great shot, but it held. And then I saw these Papio. They're an Alua. They're smaller, and I watched them for a little bit to make sure they were big enough to be legal. And then I decided, yeah, I'm going to take one of these things. They're probably one of my favorite eating fish. Sashimi, to fry them, they're such a great fish. It was a horrible shot, hit him on the back end, so I had to hurry and cover the other side of the spear there to make sure that I didn't lose that fish. And then I saw this flounder down here, and I should have let it go a little bit earlier. I held too long, and so I missed him there, scared him under a rock, and I just watched and saw the rock that he went under. Then I saw his back end sticking out here and thought that I might be able to get him, but again, he saw me before I got a shot off at him. I might have nicked his tail right here, and so when I did, I came back up and I was kind of watching him to roll out, and then I saw this white-tipped shark rolling around down there in the depths, and he was looking in the same rocks where this flounder was, and so either I nicked him or the commotion let this shark know that he's there. I love running into shark. Now he's probably a 6 or 7 foot, fully grown white-tipped shark, almost entirely harmless to humans unless you shove your finger in their mouth. I followed him around a little bit, but he went over here into the depths, and I just chased him, followed him around, chased him around. I don't want to scare him too much, but I really have a lot of respect and love for the shark, so I just kind of followed him around there to get some good looks at him. Really love seeing sharks in the water. They're one of the staples to the ocean, and so anytime I can get a look at him, I'll spend as much time hanging out, and that kind of filled my canteen and made me happy. Even though I didn't get a lot of fish down here that I would have liked to get, I got enough to eat dinner and got to check out a shark and hang out with the shark, so really good dive. I just sat here and kind of watched them. You can see them there trolling through the rocks looking for fish. Usually those white tips are hanging out inside of the rocks, and they're just kind of laying low down the bottom, so you actually don't see them too often. After that, I just took a couple more drops looking for something else to put on my plate tonight. So Took a couple of horrible shots, looked in a couple other caves for some manpachis, didn't really see anything in there. I think I fired 1 or 2 shots at some manpachi, but I didn't get anything there. Let an ill-advised shot go there and entirely missed. And I started to lose my confidence a little bit here in my shots. What is up, guys? Here going to cook up this Papio that I shot. It's basically a little Alua. If they're under 10 or 12 pounds, they're called a Papio. I only got one. I didn't go after any of the other ones because I have to fly tomorrow to the mainland possibly, and so I didn't want to shoot more than I could eat today. So I've got the one little Papio. I've already filleted him up, and so I'm just gonna fry him up. I lived for about 2 years in Italy, and I really like the kind of oily, lighter dishes. So this is one of my favorite ones, and this fish in particular is one of my favorite fish. So I'm just gonna season him up, and I don't season with a lot of stuff. So I basically, welcome to Hawaii, where your salt just clumps up. So I just, typically on this type of delicate fish, just use some salt, pepper. And while I'm doing this, I'm actually going to get my, maybe not, take 2. So I'm going to use olive oil, about a 1/4 cup, or about that much. Let it start to get hot. I'm going to slice up a couple of things while that's going. So as that's warming up, I'm gonna flip this over and I'm gonna do the other side. So I love to come up here and cook at night. I love the nighttime up in this area. You'll hear these coqui frogs in the background. They're actually an invasive species, but I love them. They came from Puerto Rico originally, but I love these little guys. So that's starting to get hot. Don't want them to start to burn, so I'm going to throw these in. Whoa. I don't know if you saw the flames, but they were real hot. Turn that down a little bit. So that'll cook for about 1.5 minutes on each side. And then what I've done is I've already chopped up my tomatoes. And I've already got some black olives here. So let that roll for about 1.5 minutes. So as I say in these coqui frogs, I just love the noise of them. You hear a lot of geckos. It's just kind of really peaceful up here and quiet. Now these white pineapple, I'm going to roast them right at the very end and just get them a little bit hot, bring out a little bit even more of that sweetness, but I'm going to eat some fresh as well because it's some of the best stuff on earth. So about 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, turn it over. Let it cook about 1 minute, 1.5 minutes on that side. So tomorrow I have to head to Dallas, Texas in general. I bought a property over there in Corpus Christi that's going to be an Airbnb. And then I also have some software there that I'm teaching some people how to use, how to find properties that are delinquent on taxes and how to negotiate them. Real estate's what I've done for the better part of my life. So have to fly out there tomorrow. But I'm gonna push pause on this in a second. I'll come right back to you in a second. Gotta go get some more heat. Just barely ran out. Luckily I brought another can with me. Looks like they might not have known that I was here. All right, cooked that for about 1 minute longer. So I don't know where I was, but I'm going over to Dallas to teach people how to use this software. San Antonio, Corpus Christi, where I bought my property. Just doing a little tour over there for a few days. And now there's a size limit on these. I believe they have to be 12 inches is what they have to be. And this one barely was bigger than that. I eyed them down for a while before I decided to pull the trigger on it. He wound up being just over 13, just over a pound. So got some super sweet cherry tomatoes. Gonna throw in handful of basil, chopped olives, a squish of lemon, throw in a little more salt, stir that around a little bit. I'm going to throw in just a few of these pineapple, not all of them. Now you cook it just long enough for the cherry tomatoes to get just a little bit soft. I don't like them super soft. Just heat up a little bit, start to soften a little bit. If it's hot enough, then you can sear the edges of it just a little bit. So I'll show you what we got going on over here. You check it out. I beat up my fish just a little bit here. Get those pineapple down there in the juices and the heat. Oop, man down. You can see how white that pineapple is in contrast there. So let that cook for probably another 45 seconds, maybe a minute. And then we're gonna hurry and eat, go home, go to bed, and get up in the morning and get 2 cars ready to go out. Nobody's been taking my rental cars since this whole COVID thing hit. And finally now I've got people that are renting the cars. So I've got 2 that are both going out tomorrow, and then 1 while I be gone that I've got to get ready for my wife too. So super busy day getting the cars ready. If you guys haven't ever had this white pineapple, insane sweet. This is honestly one of my favorite fruits in the world, but white pineapple ruined golden pineapple for me. If you get one that's right, it's unparalleled in flavor. Check one of these tomatoes. Just a little bit longer and a little more salt. If I haven't already told you guys, salt's one of my vices. I eat way too much of it. So as that's finishing up, I'm just gonna slice another small slice of this white pineapple that I can eat fresh. When you guys come over here, the white pineapple, when you come to the island, it's almost always at the farmers markets, but you see it on the side of the road here in the summer all the time. So every time I see them, they're like darker in color. The outside is almost black. It's super dark. So whenever I see that super dark pineapple, yank over to the side of the road and I grab me some. Let's see. I think we're done. Let's turn that off. You can see it there. So I'm gonna set my fish to the side for just a moment. Now, if you overcook it, the basil will lose some of its flavor as well. So the basil is a little bit of a delicate flavor that cooked too long. Fresh basil. If it's a dried herb, then you put it in a little earlier, and it develops more flavor as it cooks. At least that's what the Italians tell me. Drizzle some of this juice all over it. And there we have it. Papio, quick fried in olive oil with tomatoes, olives, basil, and some white pineapple to go along with it. Super easy, but super delicious. So let me give it a try this time. It's one of my favorite fish. It's almost impossible to find at a grocery store. Occasionally you can, but it's super rare because usually if somebody gets it, it ends up on their dinner table. It's a little treasure out here in the ocean. So pineapple is super hot. It's so sweet when it gets a little bit roasted. And of course, can't forget the aloha. Fiji apple is probably my second favorite. I like the lilikoi. The lilikoi passion is my favorite. This is probably my second favorite. I'm always sad when the last white pineapple leaves, when I buy my very last one of the year, because I know it's 6 months before I get to try it again, and they're fantastic. Interesting things about pineapples too, I didn't know this, but if you plant the top of them, the leafy part, if you plant it in about the top 2 inches of the head, plant that in dirt, that'll grow you another tree. I think it's the next year, maybe it's 2 years, I don't know which it is, but off of that comes the next fruit. But a pineapple tree only gives you 1 fruit. So you plant that, next year you get another one, you chop it off, you plant that, you get another one. It's kind of crazy how they grow. To think of all that work for 1 fruit, it's surprising to me that they're not more expensive than they are. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching thus far. I'm gonna eat the rest of my meal. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you've liked the content, shamelessly, I ask this all the time, but if you've liked the comment, please go down and at least show me some love. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel so you can get some future updates as soon as I post them. Comment down in the comments if you'd like to see somewhere else or go somewhere else. I'm thinking about flying over to the other islands. If you heard that, that's a gecko. I didn't know what that was. I heard it for the longest time until somebody told me that was a gecko that just made that noise. I thought it was a bird forever. But go down and subscribe to the channel so you guys can view the content. Leave me a comment. Let me know what's up. And I always respond, try to interact with everybody that is enjoying my content because I enjoy interacting with you guys. So thank you so much for being here. I can't thank you enough. And as always, I'm Josh Buck. This is my high life. I think I burnt my tongue on that first piece of pineapple. That's still hot.